Railroader is a wonderful game that works on Windows and Linux. Although modding's not officially supported, many already exist. As mods aren't officially supported yet, game updates can and do break mods. So I'll show you a method to install the mods that won't break the game if the mod can't be loaded. To install the mods, we're going to be using the Unity Mod Manager and the Railloader Mod Manager. Now both of these are actually made for Windows but will work on Linux. However, a few more steps are needed to make them work on Linux. And so what we're going to do is make the video in Linux and I'll include chapters in the video, and so Windows users can just skip ahead for the bits they don't need. Step 1. Install and play your game. Fairly simple. Just make sure it works. This gives you a base, so you know the game actually functions correctly before you ever install anything. If you're a Linux user and you've never played a Steam game before, and if you've just installed Steam, you just bought Railroader, double click on or single click on Steam here, click on settings on the menu, and this little box will pop up. Click on compatibility and just make sure this is on. Just to make sure that Windows games can be played on your Linux system. So the first actual thing you want to do is download the two mod loaders. Now it doesn't matter if you're on Windows or Linux, you're going to have to do this. So what I'd recommend to do is create a folder and put the mod loaders into that. So as you can see on Linux here, I've created one called Railroader Mod Installer as well. Right click any folder, click new folder, add the folder. Windows is pretty much the same thing. Click on my computer, choose the drive, let's say C. Right click and you'd have a link also to create a new folder. Exactly the same thing, there's no difference. Inside that, because we're installing two different mod loaders, I've created two different folders. Forget this other one here. One called Railloader, sorry, and one called Unity Mod Installer. They're the different ones we're going to install. So then we can actually download our files into these two folders. So now it's time to download the files. Now, this is the Nexus Mods website where you're going to download, the actual mod loader, one of the mod loaders, plus we download a lot of the mods we want to actually put in the game. Before you can actually download though, you need to register or you need to log in. So obviously if you click register, it's going to ask you for email, are you human, verify, etc. Put your email address in, then it's going to ask you for a password. You go through the process and you end up back on the home page again. If you're an account, you want to click the login button, just put your username and password and you'll end up back here again. The next step is to download the Unity Mod Manager. So in the search we type Unity Mod Manager. First link, click on it. And we're back to the page we saw earlier. We now click on Files, we wait for it to load. And what you see is a load of files down here. These are older versions and the top one here should always be the newest one, December 27th. Click on it. From here we have the option of free or premium. We're going to go for the free. Wait 5 seconds. And now when it takes us to the download, it'll probably do some Windows as well, depends on your browser. Click Save. And that one's done. Next we head to the Railloader website. We click on the download the zip file link and that will download it to the downloads folder once more. Click Save and that's done. So next we want to put the files we've downloaded into the folders we created earlier. So this is the folder we created earlier. This is the Railroader Mod Installers. Inside that we created one called Unity Mod Installer and the other one called Railloader. So we are using Dolphin. We're on Linux, we're using the Dolphin File Explorer. In Windows, you would put one Windows Explorer here, one Windows Explorer there. So on the left-hand side, you want to go to your Downloads folder where you download the files. And on the right-hand side, you want to go to the folder which you want to place the files into. So the process is exactly the same on Linux as it is on Windows. Nothing to be scared about on either. Right-click, and then we want to extract the file. Now both Windows and Linux have the exact same thing, so we now have extracted this Unity folder, and these are the files in it. So on the right hand side, we want to go into that folder, back on the left hand side, go to the bottom, click, hold your mouse button all the way to the top, so then we've actually got all these files. Now there's two ways we can do this. We can either left click, hold and drag across, or right click, cut Go to the other side, right click, paste, and then we've moved them across. Again, no difference in Windows, exactly the same. Now in Windows, you're ready on this one. You can just click here to actually run it. On Linux, we have to do another step, which we'll do in a second. Let's move the files over for Railloader as well. Now again, right click, extract, extract here. This time there's no folders, just a program. Now here's a difference. In Windows, we can just put this program into here. Or you can actually run it from here. You can run this program anywhere. So essentially we can just put it here. In Linux, we cannot do that because it can't find the game. In Linux, we need to put it into the game folder. So we're going to go back to here, click on the cog, click on, is it manage? Yes. Browse local files. If we minimize that, so this is the game folder. So here we are, we would just literally drag it over. Now for Windows, all you have to do at this point, whether you've put it in this folder, because you can put it in this folder if you wish to, or if you put it into the other folder, into the mods folder we have, you just double click on it and it will install the needed files onto here. Once again, just like with the Unity mod manager though, Linux needs to do an extra step. So this is where Windows users can forward a bit onto the next chapter, but Linux users need to watch this next segment. The next thing Linux users want to do is install Mono. It might be installed in your system, but it probably isn't. So the method of doing this will be different depending on this distribution you're actually running. So mine, for instance, is Fedora. Well, it's Nobara OS, which is based on Fedora. And so for doing it on here, would just be sudo dnf install mono-devel. So you highlight the text, right click, copy, click on there, click on console, go and find your console, right click, paste, click enter. Now, you're going to put your password in. And as you can see, it's already installed here. Now, for Arch users, again, it seems that it's quite simple. I've not tested this, but checking on the website, it looks like it's a sudo pacman-s mono. So once again, right click it, the text, right click, paste it in, click enter, just like we've done on here. Now, if you're on Ubuntu or something, or a derivative of Ubuntu or Debian, you have to do one extra step. So if we look on Ubuntu here, it says 2004, 1804, 1604, depends which one you're on. You need to tell it where to download the files from, and that's what this bit's for. So you highlight all of the text, right click, copy, go back into console, right click, paste, click enter. Once again, it will ask you for password. Then it will run this and add where the files will be downloaded from. Once you've done that, you go down to the bottom here and you do the install process. So sudo apt install mono-devel. So again, highlight the text, right click, copy, get your console, right click, and I can't run this because I'm actually using Fedora. Click enter, it will ask you for a password and it will run and just install Mono. Once we've installed Mono, we can use it to run Railloader and the Unity mod manager. So if you're using Dolphin, what you can do is just right click the folder and open terminal here. All we have to do then is type mono, M-O-N-O, then Railloader, railloader.exe. It's simple as that. We click enter. Before we actually click enter, we will find out a way of doing it without doing that. So, right, highlight your text, right click, copy. So we got the folder. Once again, we go into console. So we're not in the folder by default, so we need to get to the folder. So if we don't want to do it the other way, you click CD, change directory, right click, paste, and that puts us in the same folder to where we were just a second ago. So by doing this, you can see we're actually in the same folder now. So it doesn't matter which way you do it, you end up with the same thing. So again, we go mono railloader.exe. You click enter, and it will, well, for mine's already patched. For you, it will just say is patched, and then it's done. You press a key to enter, and you're done. You can close it down. Railloader is now available in your game. It's working, ready to use. Next, we want to load the Unity mod installer. So we will go into that folder. Obviously, if you're on Windows, all you do is just double click this. But on Linux, it's not going to work. So just like before, we'll right click, click open terminal here. There you go. We would be in there. All we have to then type is mono unity mod manager.exe and it will run. However, if you can't do that, again, we'll highlight the text, click copy, go down to the bottom, we'll run it from console here. So this isn't the correct folder. So if we were to type that in here now, so if we were to type mono unity mod manager in here now, it's just going to say no such folder. So what you need to do is change the drive, just like last time, to the correct folder. Now, have a look here. We've got spaces in between these words. So if we were to do that now, cd to the arguments. So what we can do instead, and by the way, to do that is arrow up and arrow down to see previous commands. We use the left arrow to go to here, put a quotation mark in here, put one at the end, put one in here, and put one just before the end slash, and guess what? We're in there again. So then we would type the mono unity, no spaces, mod manager.exe, and it loads up. Now this part's pretty much the same on Windows and Linux. So on Windows, you would double click here, you would open the program. Once here, you click on the download, you choose Railloader. Now, if everything's fine, all we got to do is click install, and it's done. So we've now installed on both Linux and Windows both Unity Mod Manager and Railloader onto the game. So now we can actually open the game up just to make sure they're both running. So as usual, we would click on the play button. Now Windows would be pretty much instantaneous, but on Linux, you're going to have to wait for the Vulkan shaders to actually process and load. Incidentally, I'm actually using the experimental branch, but it doesn't really matter which version you're actually using. The process is exactly the same. So if the Unity Mod Manager is loaded, as soon as you load the game, you will see this. Now you won't see any mods because this is where the mods are listed below. You will at least see this. What you can do is actually decide what hotkey you want to actually get this back up and down. So if you press on it, then you can choose a hotkey. I'm going to choose F9, sign, F9, save. So now if I click on F9, it will open and close. You can see this is basically a brand new install. We have used the game before, so these are cloud saves. But let's load that up. I don't remember being here, but we are. The point is, if we click on here, Railloader is actually installed. What we can do then is click on that, click on check for uploads, and it will ask us this. It only asks us once. You click yes. So in other words, in future, you should be able to just click on there to update. Theory. But yes, it is running. Once again, if I press F9, we can still get this back up again, this one. So this is the Unity mod loader. I think the first mod we're going to try to install is called RR Utilities. Now, as we know, there are two mod installers we can use. Now, if we go down to where it says requirements, it usually tell you which one to use. In this case, it's the Unity Mod Manager. So as before, when we downloaded the Mod Manager, we actually go to Files, and click on manual download. Again, it says it requires a Unity. We already have that installed. We click download. It's slow download. Now on both Linux and on Windows, all you have to do is drag this across to where it says drop zip files here. That's it, it's installed. So if I click on this tab, this is our game folder. It's created a new folder called mods. In there, we see the Railloader one, which we installed earlier, and this is the one we just installed now, just now. Now we show you a separate way to actually install the same mod. So we're going to delete this out of the mods folder. Shift, delete it, yeah. So Railloader is in there still. We can't take that out, but we still got the other one. So what we're going to do is split this again. Now this time, all we're going to do is right click and extract the files. Extract here. And what we've got is utilities and info and license. If we just drag that across, and we need to get rid of where it says all that lot, just keep utilities. That's it. Basically, that's now done. So now if we load back into the game, when we load that, when we see it, we should see the mod, hopefully. There we are, RT utilities. Status is okay. Now if you click on it, here is its options. So if we click on this, that of course is nicely working now. Okay, so it looks like after the update, this mod is semi-working. So if we look at here, when we actually click move this foliage, you can see it gets fewer and it grows more. So this will affect your FPS. Pity that's not working because that's quite useful. Again, I'm fairly sure at some point they're actually, it will start working again. We'll do an update. This is what I mentioned at the beginning of the video, updates break mods. And it's just interesting that the first one we tried, it has broken. Now before we load the next mod, we're going to try Railloader mod. This is going to add a little extra bit of track down here. You can see it's not here right now. So in this series we used it because it's very useful. A set of points, a switch going straight across this way. So before we install that track mod, we need to install 2 helper mods because I do know that that track mod needs at least one of them. So we're going to head back to the Railloader site, click on mods, overview, and this is all the different mods they've got on there. So we're going to click on the download for your convenience. Downloads, yes, click save. And the other one we're going to do is Strange Customs. We click down there, download there, and click save. There you go. So here we have the 2 mods we've just downloaded. To install them on Windows, all you do is drop the file on top of the Railloader.exe program. As we said before, this program here can be anywhere in Windows. It will find this folder. Once you dropped it, it will then open up a command prompt in Windows and a few lines of text will happen just like it did when we actually loaded this up earlier, and it will say the mod installed. And all that does is uncompacts this, unzips this folder, the files out of this folder, and then puts them into this folder. But we can do that manually also. Now you can do it manually on Windows and you can do it manually on Linux. Well, Linux is the only real way to do this. So you would right click and you click extract here. Windows no problem, but as you can see on Linux we do have a bit of a problem. And here's the problem. So you can see there's the backslash there. Well, Linux uses /, and I don't think the extractor knows that these are meant to be going into folders. This is not actually a file name, it's meant to be a folder. Now you can change this, all you have to do is get rid of it. So you highlight it, delete, and it's done. So you can do that with all of them, and then you just copy them across. Now if you can't be bothered to do that, you don't want to do that. Now I've had a look at a few different zip programs in Linux. So this is the Discover program. here. It's a Flatpak essentially, so whichever Flatpak store you want to use. I found that Core Archiver does work. So if we click Open Archive, Railloader, Mods, Strange Customs. So we have to choose the folder which it's going into, and we have to choose the folder where it's going to be extracted to. So that's the zip file, that's where it's going to go. This is what we're going to see, and it can actually read what it's meant to look like. So we extract it. So now we have the actual folder structure. No silly names. So if we go across to here where we're putting it into, we can see it's mods. So that's where we'd copy this one across into there. Here you go, Strange Customs. We're going to do it this way. For your convenience. Now I'm going to get rid of all of that, starting us there. From there. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. There we go. So that's the proper file name. Open up mods. Copy it across. And once again, we're going to now load up the game. I could not load type, blah, 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 failed to load, faulty mods. So it looks like that one of those or both of those is busted. Your convenience could not load, check for updates, up to date, strange, customs, it's up to date. So if your convenience isn't working, so we should probably remove that, otherwise we're going to get problems. Strange customs is working. So why are we actually receiving errors? Essentially because it is now the 27th of December, and on the 24th of December there was an update, and that's broken lots of mods. Again, why I said right at the beginning. So it's the for your convenience isn't working, isn't it? So I'm going to move that straight back again. So it's this list of mods I've downloaded. You find it in here, and anything you've previously downloaded is download history. What I'm looking for is going to be the East Whittier crossover. Why that one? Because that's the one I just mentioned in the video a second ago. This will add a set of points where we didn't previously had one. So if we click on requirements, we can see it needs Railloader and it needs Strange Customs. Luckily, it doesn't need the other mod. So yes, we'll download it. It's April 2024. Now some of the mods on here have newer versions on their Discord. And in a moment, I'm going to show you how to find mods on the Discord and possibly download new versions. So where are we at? Mod Unity, no it's not Unity, Railloader, mods, go, if I save that. So once again, I right click, extract here. This one's actually done it. That took me for a second. This one's actually done it properly. So mods East Whittier. So all we have to do is copy it across. On Windows, if you don't want to do that, all you have to do is get the there and drop it on top of Railloader. Right, so run it again. We now have the set points here, which we didn't have earlier. And if we click on there, it should say it. Can't do anything with it, but it does say it. So apart from Nexus mods and the Railloader site, which does have actually other mods as well on it, you can also go to the Discord, Railloader Discord, to get mods. By default, you won't see any mention of mods here because it's all unofficial. However, once you've joined and agreed to everything, click on here. We now have access to the search. If I put mod there for a second. Right, so here's mod in discussion. What you see on the left hand side is suggested. So if you right click on here, go to add to channel list, it will now be shown, so then you can start looking through the mods list. There's also modern directory, and once again you can add to channel list. So once you've done that, you can start looking through some modding which is on here. After a bit of searching on Discord, now I wanted to show you an example where you might find a newer file on Discord than you would on the site. So this is the Railloader site, So you download it for your convenience. This was the mod which didn't work. So after searching, I had to search for the user, and I've gone back numerous days, and I found out 1.2.4.357.15.1451. So here's the file we've just actually downloaded. So this is for your convenience 1.2.24. This is the one we tried earlier, 1.1.24. Now, if you're on Windows, you will just drag this across onto your Railloader file, wherever you placed it, and it will then install the mod. We're on Linux, so you either can right click, extract, and the file names will probably be incorrect, or you can use Core Archiver. So you choose the zip, put it on there, extract, and here we go for your inconvenience, hopefully not. Right, so we've got there, and we've got a new experimental as well. Remember, we are using the experimental branch, so we click on mods on this side, go across, move file, and then we can try it. And you can see it loads fine now. As you can see, I've also added a few extra mods in. This is one of them. This adds an extra set of points down at Whittier. This is an extra set of points down at Bryson. It's very useful for getting into there. Another set of points at Silver. Very useful. So this mod extends the zone, the pickup zone. Without it, it's just here. But sometimes you have a lot of these wagons, and so it's useful to have them going all the way down. There's lots and lots more mods to choose from. Most of them are on the Nexus Mods website. There's locos, there's wagons, there's assets you can add on, so more scenery you can add on. There's more track plans and things. So someone's created a loop of track, so you don't actually have to turn around. There's a lot to choose from. Well, I think that's where we're going to leave it for the video. I will place links to all the websites and web pages I've actually mentioned in the video in the description. Any commands which I've actually used, I'll leave in the description, the basic description of what they do. And that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you find it useful. If you did, please press the like button. If you see more, please subscribe and press the ding dong bell when you know what it does. See you next time. Bye.